Welcome to the Word Around Town, episode 4. If you're curious about what's going on in Northwest Indiana, you've come to the right place. I'm Steve Jamrok with Realty Executives Premier, your host, and each week I take a dive into what's going on in real estate in Northwest Indiana, along with what's going on in our awesome communities throughout the region. And this week, there's a new lawsuit brewing in real estate, and this time it's against one of the major real estate portals. I'm going to ask you, why would you risk handling your largest financial transaction to the push of a button? Go behind the scenes of realtor advocacy. There's a lot that the public doesn't know about that we do behind the scenes, and I want to share a little bit of that with you. Everyone's favorite Northwest Indiana utility is in the news again with, and I quote, a massive expansion, and why it probably won't be the last one. There's plenty of new developments coming to the region as well, as long as the reopening of a longtime Crown Point favorite. Northwest Indiana University is getting some love nationally, and a ton of fun events planned for the weekend. But first, before we get going here, I just always like to take a second to thank all of you who have taken a second to watch this, interact with, and give me a follow here. I greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time here, thanks for listening, and I would love it if you went ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you hear, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and share this with a friend as well. And of course, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment box below. This podcast is for you, and I want to talk about the things that you want to hear. So let's get going into the world of real estate real quick. And typically, I like to keep this on a local level when I talk about real estate, but there's something that happened nationally that I think we need to talk about. And I have no idea if it's ever going to come down, have any effect on the way that you buy or sell real estate or any effect at all on any of us. But it definitely bears watching. And it's kind of ironic because it's a new class action lawsuit. It's the same law firm that brought the class action lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors that was settled last year. And that lawsuit ended up bringing some significant changes to the way we practice real estate, including the buyer agency agreements that we now need to have in place before we can tour any properties. But this class action lawsuit is a little bit different because it's actually against one of the real estate portals, and that plaintiff is Zillow. So the new class action suit accuses Zillow of steering home buyers to its network of agents who advertise with them. So there was a particular home buyer that was upset that when he went to Zillow and hit the connect with an agent button, it took them to one of Zillow's premier agents that advertises with Zillow instead of to the listing agent. So now we're going to get into how Zillow works here in a second, because I think it's important to understand that, because the majority of the public doesn't understand how it works. But overall, not sure how this is going to transpire over time, but I think considering that it's the same law firm, that won the class action against the National Association of Realtors, I think it bears watching, because they have the ammunition to drag this out and try to make whatever change they're looking to make. But one thing I do know for sure, that typically in these class action suits, the only real winners end up being the class action attorneys. So, again, be curious to watch how this drags out here over the coming months and or years, but it could bear some changes in the future. We'll watch and see how it goes. So, but let's go ahead and take a dive into Zillow real quick, though. I just kind of want to talk about just exactly how Zillow works. I think there's so many people out there, so many consumers that use the website, that use the app to search for homes, and it's great. They've made a fantastic product. That's what's great about Zillow and a portal. But the one thing that they don't understand is where all that information comes from. Most people believe that Zillow, actually, those are their listings. They take the pictures, they put in the information, and when you hit that button, you're going to be connected to a Zillow call center to get all your questions answered. And that's so far from the truth. So again, as far as transparency goes, you should understand where things come from in real estate. And all of those listings that get entered into Zillow, unless they're for sale by owner, those listings are coming from realtors like myself who go out, meet with their clients, sign a listing agreement, and agree to list their house. Now, we enter that information into our multiple listing service, and then we choose whether we want to syndicate that out to the secondary markets like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all the secondary search engine sites that people like to go to. Now, why would we do that, you ask? Well, it's simple. There's 12 million viewers a day on Zillow, so it's typically in the home seller's best interest to get their property out in front of as many eyes as possible. So, of course, it makes sense to get it out into Zillow so we can get as many eyes on that property as possible. What people don't understand, though, again, is those pictures, the information, everything is coming from the listing agent. And when you go to hit that button and you have some questions about that property, or if you want to schedule a tour, and Zillow has two buttons, a connect with agent or a schedule a tour button. And when you connect with those, you aren't getting connected to Zillow. You are getting connected to one of the agents that advertises with Zillow. So again, Zillow made this fantastic platform. They spent millions, billions probably at this point in time, perfecting their website and their app. And it is so user-friendly. There's a lot of great information, not going to lie. So many consumers that I know still like to go there even when working with a realtor. But what they're a little not transparent on is, again, they send you to a realtor. So a lot of people go to Zillow because they're not ready to work with a realtor. So they're searching on there. And then when they have a question, they hit that button and surprise, you're connected to a realtor. And those realtors pay for advertising spots on Zillow. So the question I have for you is, why in the world, if you're, and I understand, if you're just casually looking or have questions and just browsing Zillow, that's fine. But if you are actively looking for a property, you're looking to buy or sell your house, why in the world would you leave your largest financial transaction in the hands of a random push of a button on Zillow or any other real estate portal for that matter, Realtor.com, Homes.com? Why would you not hire a realtor and have them ready to work for you and advocate for you when you do have those questions? It doesn't matter if you're looking to buy in a month, 6 months, a year down the road. If you sit down and talk with a realtor and find one that fits your style, will communicate with you, will answer their phone, and be there ready to advocate for you, that is so valuable. I think so many consumers waste their time when they go onto these portals and press a button, try to get a question answered, or the realtor is too busy, so they go on these portals, or whatever the excuse is for not hiring a realtor, when in reality, I think we just don't want to take that step. It's a convenience factor. And if you just took a little bit of time to find a great realtor that will work on your behalf, whenever you have a question, they're there to answer it for you, to advocate for you, and to work for you. And that's why, again, I get it. Zillow's a great site, but have a realtor ready for you if you are serious about your home search. We're there to answer questions for you at all times. So again, be sure if you're getting serious about your home search, buying or selling, reach out to a realtor, have them in place, because really, when you think about it, just pushing that button and meeting a random agent at a house, it's the same as going into court right before your trial and meeting your attorney in the courtroom for the first time, or if you're getting audited and you sit down at the table and the IRS is on one side and in comes your accountant, and that's the first time you're meeting them there. It really blows my mind that so many people would trust that biggest financial purchase to just a random agent they meet online instead of sitting down and talking with them and getting to know them and building that trust beforehand. But anyway, that's my little rant there. I hope you learned a little bit there about how Zillow works and the importance of actually getting an agent behind you, a realtor behind you, as opposed to just a random push of a button there. So anyway, let's move on here. And I do want to talk one more thing about realtors, and that is some behind the scenes advocacy of what realtors do that the public really doesn't know. And it's our fault as realtors. We've done a bad job over the years of really kind of explaining how we advocate for the public besides helping you buy or sell a property. Recently, I was at an event at the Hard Rock Casino here in Gary, a realtor event, and it was sponsored by our local Realtor Political Action Committee. Now, these RPAC committees, they're fundraising committees, and the fundraising dollars go to our lobbyists on a local, state, and national level. And I've, over the years, found out the importance of having these lobbyists in effect. I'm not a political person. I'm really not. But when it comes to home ownership, it's extremely important because there's so many bills and laws that come into effect that take shape that affect homeowners and homeownership. And without the guidance of local realtors from a local, state, or national level, some of these laws and some of the things that they would try to pass would really affect homeowners in a negative way. So two things I learned about that I want to talk about today, though, while I was there. Because again, I want to backtrack real quick here, because when you think about it, you think about a lawmaker, they're focused just kind of on what the bill says, what it reads. Maybe a constituent comes in and has a concern to them and they think it's a great idea. They run with it. And they don't see the broad overview here. And that's where our lobbying efforts come into play. But a couple things that we're recently doing here on a national level, as far as trying to help homeowners go. The first thing is flood insurance. At the end of this month, we're facing a potential government shutdown again. And again, I'm not going to get into the politics of things, but one thing that realtors have always done when it comes to budget time and these government shutdowns is ensuring that the National Flood Insurance Program stays in effect and funded. Flood insurance is just like any insurance. It is so expensive, but flood insurance it's traditionally double what your home insurance is. And without having a nationally funded flood insurance program, homeownership in some of these areas would be near impossible for so many people. So lobbyists and the RPAC committees on a national level do a great job of ensuring that lawmakers understand this flood insurance is important to homeowners throughout the country and to make sure that that is funded and in place. The other thing that we're working up on is there's been a lot of whispers behind the scenes of the capital gains tax being either revised and or removed. And that would be huge. We are a strong proponent and supporter of getting rid of the capital gains tax. And reason being is so many people have let me rephrase that. So many homeowners throughout the last few years have gained such a tremendous amount of equity, especially those of you who've lived in your house, for a long time. You bought it for $100,000 and now it's worth $600,000. And those capital gains tax, they can affect whether you want to you want to sell your property or not. Nobody wants to go ahead, make that move, but get hit with a huge tax when you sell your property. So again, this is in the infancy of talks, but it's something that bears watching. It's something that we're going to strongly advocate for, and that is the elimination of capital gains tax. That's something that really bears watching. I'm excited to see if it gains some legs and move forward, but it would be of great help to homeowners throughout the country if the capital gains tax was eliminated. So, all right, enough real estate. Let's go into what's going on in Northwest Indiana, and I want to talk about our favorite utility company, NIPSCO. This one here is ironic to me, but they are looking to build, and I quote from the Northwest Indiana Times, a massive natural gas powered generating plant at their current Schaefer generating station in Wheatfield. This plant would generate electricity for data centers. Now, I remember a time not long ago where I was being told that I should drive an electric vehicle and I should rely on solar and wind power for our electric capabilities, and there was plenty of that to go around. Well, until data centers and artificial intelligence took off. So I know data centers are a hot topic all over the country, but especially here in Northwest Indiana. And I'm bringing this up because it's something that y'all need to be aware of and be involved with, because they're not going away. Over the weekend, Governor Braun did an interview with the Indiana Business Journal, and he reiterated his support for developing Indiana into a tech hub. And one of the answers that he's looking into to help generate the needed energy for these data centers is to approve mini reactors near these data centers, mini nuclear reactors near these data centers. So they use a ton of energy, but they also use a ton of land and water as well. So they're moving rapidly, folks. When you take up that much land for these data centers, it's land that could be used for housing. So that's what's concerning to me. I'm concerned about the use of water, etc. But these developments, they're going to move rapidly. AI is moving at a pace that none of us can even fathom right now, and it's going to continue to do so. And the need to power them is going to continue to grow and grow and grow rapidly. So make sure you are aware of what's going on in your community. Pay attention to these developments. Sometimes they come at you relatively quickly. Make sure that you have your questions answered about how much land are taking up, where the water's coming from, where the power's coming from. Those are some great questions you all can ask. Again, I'm not saying I'm against them, but I'm just saying that they are moving quickly, and if you're not prepared, they can take up the land all around you quicker than you can imagine. So while we're talking about AI and data centers on this side of the border here in Indiana, just on the other side of the border in Illinois, at the old U.S. Steel South Works in South Chicago, a company called PS Quantum is looking to build the first utility-scale quantum computer at that site. Now, I am no tech expert, and I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that I know anything about quantum computing. But what I do know is that this PSI Quantum has raised over $1 billion for this project. Let me repeat that, $1 billion. So you can guarantee they are serious about moving forward with this project here. Now, quantum computing is the next generation of computing from what I understand, and it will take artificial intelligence to another level. Why is it important to us, and what are we talking about? Well, if data centers use X amount of energy that we're already having to build new power plants for them, imagine what quantum computing is probably going to be on the same level and the same needs required to run them as well. So again, keep these projects in mind. Watch your local papers. Pay attention to your local town and city council meetings, and make sure you understand what's happening with these major data centers and the power needed to provide them. So, okay, on to some other development news. Over to Michigan City and LaPorte County. Holiday Properties plans to invest $5 million into a new 54,000 square foot industrial center on the south side of the city. Now, no tenants have been named yet for this complex, but that's a major investment into LaPorte County again, and Michigan City just continues to see the investment, which is great again for Michigan City and LaPorte County. Over in Lake Station, Indiana. Lake Station, don't talk a lot about Lake Station too much here, but they're landing their first new full-service grocery store in years. It's going to be located in the Old Central Market. The Chicago developer that has purchased that market. I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. The Chicago developer that purchased the Old Central Market is putting in a full-service grocery store. They haven't named the tenant yet, but they did say that it will cater to the diversity of the residents of Lake Station. So that is great news for Lake Station as they get their first full-service grocery store in years there in Lake Station. All right. Still in the planning phases in Porter County, but a new Holiday Inn Express is planned for the Coffee Creek area in Chesterton near the Indiana Toll Road interchange. So a new hotel for you to go ahead and take a rest if traveling on the Indiana Toll Road. Into Crown Point, and good news for downtown Crown Point. Provecho is planning to reopen their restaurant in early November. Now, Provecho is a great restaurant here on the downtown square that serves Latin cuisine. It was unfortunately temporarily closed due to a kitchen fire in the early summer, but they have been working diligently to get it back open, and it looks like potentially early November is when they are shooting to get that back open here. Coffee drinkers, 7 Brew is coming to Crown Point. Now, I don't know anything about 7 Brew. I've seen it. I do know that my daughters are overly ecstatic about having a 7 Brew in Crown Point. I know there's one as Dyer as well that has been well received, but no opening date yet of the one in Crown Point. The building is up. It's in the Beacon Hill development, just near the Strachan Till on Broadway. Again, it's next to Panda Express, just to bring another coffee option to Crown Point. There's a great coffee shop in the meantime just north of there called Fluid Coffee Roasters, one of my favorite little spots in Crown Point. So if you need a great cup of coffee in the meantime, stop by Fluid. But again, 7 Brew coming to Crown Point. I'll update you as I get more dates and when a potential opening is for 7 Brew. On to Purdue Northwest. And now we're going to talk about our universities here in Northwest Indiana, because a lot of people don't understand that we have 3 great universities right here in Northwest Indiana. But recently, Purdue Northwest was recognized as one of the best Midwest universities for 2026 by U.S. News and World Report. That is just awesome. Purdue Northwest, they've put in a lot of money into doing some great updates to their campus, from housing to new classrooms. Their nursing and engineering programs have especially stood out and are being recognized. But this is a huge accomplishment, and a hats off, a tip of the cap to Purdue Northwest for being recognized as one of the best Midwest universities by U.S. News and World Report. Indiana University Northwest and Valparaiso are also 2 great universities here in Northwest Indiana. And again, I don't think either 3 of them have got enough accolades over the years for providing great secondary education for our communities there. With the size and growth and the cost of a secondary education nowadays, having 3 great universities that are 2 which are particularly affordable. Valpo is a private university, so cost is an issue there sometimes. But as far as PNW and IUN being fairly affordable when it comes to colleges, it's excellent to know that right here in Northwest Indiana, we have some exceptional options for universities there. And also, touching back to Purdue Northwest real quick, being in Hammond, Hammond still offers a college-bound scholarship for its residents. So if you lived in Hammond and you are a resident of Hammond, you can apply for a college-bound scholarship. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out or leave a question in the comments box below. I'll be happy to discuss that with you. Now, on to the fall fun for this weekend in Northwest Indiana. Everyone's favorite orchard, County Line Orchard in Hobart, is now open for the season. Get out there, grab some apples, grab those cinnamon donuts, and enjoy all the fun you can have at County Line Orchard. Also, for family fun, check out Harvest Time in Lowell. It's got a pumpkin patch, all kinds of rides, games, food, you name it. The fun is there. Harvest Time, a great place to go for some fall fun. In St. John this weekend is going to be the Oktoberfest, located at St. John the Evangelist Church, right there on the corner of 93rd and 41. So get out there, enjoy some brews and some Oktoberfest fun there this weekend in St. John. In Wanata this weekend is the Scarecrow Fest. Friday, September 26th at the Hard Rock Casino. If you want to laugh and have some fun, do something a little different, check out Ron White live at the Hard Rock Casino. Also, for your fall fun this weekend, Friday, September 26th through the 28th, is the Fall Harvest Festival at Sunset Hill Farm County Park in Valparaiso. Saturday, September 27th, is National Public Lands Day, and all national parks are free admission on Saturday, September 27th. So if you don't know, Northwest Indiana has a fantastic national park right here. It's the Indiana Dunes National Park. And if you've never been, then Saturday the 27th, you had free admission. Go check it out. It's unbelievably beautiful. National Public Lands Day this weekend, free admission to the Indiana Dunes National Park. And finally, on Saturday, September 27th, is also the Valpo Brew Fest. That's in downtown Valparaiso at Central Park. So that's what's going on in Northwest Indiana. Thanks for listening, guys. If you have any questions at all, again, please leave them in the comment box below. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.